Hello, everyone. Can people hear me? Excellent, excellent. So it's the first time I've chaired this, so I don't know how many people are expecting. So we'll give it another 5 minutes or so for people to log in if people are happy.
Yeah.
How's everybody doing? It seems like it's been another productive and busy week all round.
Yeah, yeah.
Extremely busy.
You don't stop, man. It's non-stop with you, Peter. It's much appreciated.
I will stop at some point. I'm passing out more often than I should. But yeah, it's more of a I understand that I'm building things that's like pain once for like years to come, like pleasure, so to speak. So it's building infrastructure projects that hopefully will make it so we don't have to do things by hand for a very long time. And I have always thrown myself on the sword for that one a few times, but getting there.
I guess that's one of the core things I've learned about this event is there's different times in the process where people are the star of the show and the busiest person, and then the wheel turns and even once we get to the event, the gates open and everything's built, there are certain teams where their busiest points are still to come, and even after everyone's done and everyone's spent and the event was great, there's still a whole bunch of people whose busiest work is about to come. And then even post event, those poor fuckers who have to do the admin and the finances and the receipts, it's their time to shine.
Wait, I'm on both ends of that table then. Oops. I didn't play that right, I guess. Oops. That's all right. As long as I can be off my on another planet for a few days in the middle there, I'll be happy.
$28, 29 people, all kind of rolling in. So I'll briefly give a bit of a rundown as to the goal of tonight's meeting. I've never chaired this before, and as you all know, I'm quite a shy person who doesn't like to talk very much. Um, so it's interesting from the information Daniela's given me, actually, it looks like this meeting is a bit of a participation themed meeting. We're going to have an update from arts. We're going to have an update from volunteering. We're going to have an update from Barrios, all of which registration processes are live because essentially that's what we're here, is to give the people those chances to participate. And then we're also going to get an update from Shauna on comms and a ticketing update from Aaron. Ollie, are you here? Are you ready to give your update when it comes to arts?
Yes, I am. Hello. Can you guys hear me? You can? Okay, cool.
Can.
So this is my cheat sheet, and I'm going to try to get the message across. So first of all, I got good news. The art team has opened the art grant application process. So from now on, all the artists that would like to bring art to the playa can apply for it for art grants. And we have a shiny new website and a great new tool to implement this art process. And so we're happy to, just to welcome everybody who wants to bring art to the playa. And that's a task for you also. So if you know someone who wants to bring art, just tell them that we're ready to go and bring art and help them. So we have a new website. Yeah, that's Daniela just posted the link, and there you find the art guide. You can download the art guide that explains everything to you, how art is being brought to the playa, how we support you, how what kind of things you have to take care of, and it's a totally new document. We worked hard on it, and so If you want to reach us, it's art@nobodies.team. There's a lot of people trying to help, the artists and everybody who wants to know something about art on the playa. And we're looking forward to it. And we also got 2 applications till now, so there's going to be art on the playa, I can promise.
Excellent, amazing. And is it most of your team from last year are coming back as well again this year?
So mostly we're like 10-ish people, and it's all the good people from the last year. So we're an experienced team, and we know what to do, and we are definitely eager to get things going.
And aside from putting the word out and promoting Art at Nowhere, is there anything you need from us as, as general volunteers or people participating at the event?
So right now we're not that event driven. We're pre-event driven. So we're trying to find the right people, give them money to get good projects on the playa. So as of now, we're just asking you to spread the word that the art grant process has started, and promote elsewhere. Just promote elsewhere. We could not, and you all know this, we could not, for certain legal reasons, get back to the artists from the last years and tell them about it. So it's super important that everybody just talks to his, her friends, they, them, whatever, and tell them, hey, the art grant process has started. Please, if you want to do something, and we need art, that's why we go there, at least me. So just tell the people that the process has started, and try to bring whatever's there. We also take recycled stuff from the last years. It doesn't matter. We pay transportation costs. No matter what, just get art to the playa.
Excellent. I mean, that's just positive and enthusiastic. It's what we want to hear. And it's amazing that you're already getting people applying. I think that's something I've seen across every team this week. The shifts are starting to fill up, the documents, it's all coming together.
Yeah, and I'm super positive for the event. So should you.
This is my positive face. Excellent. All right then. Anything else? Are you happy for us to move on? Amazing. Thanks, Ollie and other team.
Oh, that was to me. No, I'm good. Thank you so much. Just promote, bring out the message. That's all. Thanks.
Is Case in the call from Barrios? No, they'll give us a shout when they turn up. Frank, are you on the call?
Yep. All right.
Do you want to give us?
Sure. Very quick update to our new volunteering management system. So since last Sunday, it has been open. People have been signing up. We have a lot of shifts there already. There's still more to come, work in progress. So yeah, if you're planning to come and you got a ticket but haven't signed up to anything, please do. It will give us a better idea of how many people are already committed to which time period. So then it helps us looking for the other people to fit the gap. If you have any questions, if you have any troubles, let me or Nurse know, or just write in the humans channel on Discord. Also, you have the little feature of reporting problems, which I know Peter loves, everybody giving him feedback. That's pretty much it. Thank you all for the energy you're giving so far. And now let's make it official with dedicating ourselves to particular days.
Yeah, I'm going to echo what Frank said and actually give special props to Peter and Frank and the whole team for getting this system up and live and running in such a short space of time and managing to get all these little bugs fixed. Bitching about Fist seems to be an event tradition. So it's been pretty amazing to see people take what was good about Fist and get it built up. I'm looking at the volunteering dashboard now. 20% of gate event time shifts are already filled. So things are starting to trickle in. We're getting a lot of enthusiastic volunteers. Lots of people who came back from last year are trickling in by bit. lots of people who came for the first time last year. We've had a couple of people who've came last year for the first time and are coming back earlier and more excited. And we've had some new people reach out and get in touch with us. We are, if you need any help getting your volunteering, rostering things signed up, get in touch and do reach out to people. That is one of the things that we do hear from volunteers is that they sign up or they click for some shifts and then they tend to think that they're done. So, show some appreciation. We put the word out that we need everyone's help for elsewhere to make it happen this year. People are turning out in spades, even sending people a polite holding email. We made a volunteer survival guide for elsewhere this year. Sometimes if all you do is send someone a copy of that and just ask them some simple questions, cut and paste some standard questions relevant for your team, then just send it back to people. If you've any targeted needs, get in touch with us. So for example, for Barrios, I've reached out to my camp and other camps that are not coming this year. So there's a whole bunch of people who like to come pre-event every year who aren't coming. So their barrio might not be coming, so they may be really keen to come and help with you. A lot of the focus at the minute, I think, is going to be really trying to push the early first crew period. So essentially the week of the 15th of June up until Saturday the 20th, that first crew period is probably the area that I think we might find it hardest to fill. These are the fucking idiots who have 3 weeks spare and tend to come out quite early. So during that period, Cantina is up and running or getting started. The power crew are laying out the grid. Production are on site getting things set up. And also it's a lot of the infrastructure, core construction work, including unloading containers. And one key area we're really in need of is placement GPS flagging team. Last year, Diego and Rebar were just amazing. They were on site day one, dropping the GPS. As we get closer to the event, we're going to do more recruitment pushes, and we'll check in with Shauna for a comms update in a bit about targeted different areas, including the event time. But for now, it looks like getting at least some people confirmed who are coming to booked in for the first crew side of things. But your work is paying off, guys. The volunteers are trickling in. The site is up and running. So whatever you're doing is working. Keep it up. Are there any questions here?
Goodbye, nurse. I'm taking over now.
I think nurse is frozen at the moment.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
was a question in the chat that says, how do I sign up for individual setup general volunteer shifts if for some days I'm already booked on other stuff? I don't know if maybe Peter or Frank can take on that, or Hardcastle, you're there.
I mean, the easy option is, what are you trying to overwrite? Because you can select. It should have a start and an end date on the thing when you're trying to sign up for setup stuff. If it's failing, then I don't know. That's a Frank and Peter question, but I mean, you're having a problem doing something that I haven't had a problem doing. So, yay, software.
Okay. So while we wait for nurse to be back, maybe Shauna can give the
I'm back.
Oh, you're back. Yay. Well, let's gonna give it to Shauna.
Nurse, do you have anything else to add, or should I go with comms?
Yeah, come.
Go for comms.
I didn't see that you're these things outside. So hi everyone. Basically, we're starting by kind of pushing the same channels of the WhatsApp and Telegram. I hope that you all have been seeing them. Our desperate plea to share with your friends. So continue doing that. We've also started our newsletter, which is going to be the place that we like really communicate vital info. So please make sure people are signed up for that as well. And then the fun part of this is we're starting an Instagram, which we really don't want to have to use for like information because we have other places to get that. We really instead want to focus on what makes Nowhere this fucking magical experience that we keep on putting in so much work to make happen every year. So we want to focus on art, the barrios. We're going to be reaching out to a bunch of different groups. And we also invite everyone, we're going to be putting out a call after the logo competition is over to ask people for little cute stories of magic on the playa or what brings them to do this year after year. And we can put them to cool photos and videos. We're going to make it a whole thing. And so we hope that you will participate in that with us and more information to come. And then the last thing is today is our last day of the logo competition. Last time I checked, we had 13 submissions. So hopefully soon we will have a new visual identity. And yeah, that's it for comms.
Amazing. Is Case here from Barrios? Let her know. We're also going to get a bit of a finance update, but does anybody have any general questions about volunteering, participation, or comms at present?
Oh, I just threw one in the chat there. It was part of our thing with Google. They declared us nonprofit and said one of the things we can get from them is a bit of AdWords advertising. And I've asked a few people on the side, and some people were like, "Yeah, sure, it's free. Why not?" Other people were like, "Fuck no." So it felt more of a community type decision. Obviously, we would not spam like keywords like festival Spain or something like that. But there might be a very particular keyword we would want to spam, which might help drive traffic for people randomly Googling to us. And yeah, so that was the thought. If we had some free allocation from Google, would we want to use it? I don't know the actual numbers. It's probably a few hundred, but you know, few thousand impression type thing. Does anybody have an opinion?
Comms has talked about this a lot over the years, and we've always kind of come to a pretty strong no about it as well. But I see your point about making sure that we don't do like the festival and stuff like that. I do see there's maybe a way we could do it right, but as a basis, I think it's not how we want to attract a community.
Well, and my thought is more catching the community that can't find us yet, specifically off the Nowhere keyword, would be my personal thought on this. And partially because the current message at the front of the Going Nowhere website is kind of a brick wall, which I think would confuse people that are more than 2 levels of misdirection from us, or indirection or whatever, separation. You know what I mean? So that was the thought there, is like, if this is a free thing we can use and throw some ads up, and we can also stop using it if we don't like how it's working. But it's something that's out there that I requested from Google, and we should get an answer back in a day or two from their normal thing. So something we can use. It can't be too crazy. And apparently if the ads aren't effective, they pull it anyway. So we have to like do things that people want to click on. But yeah, so just an idea.
No, I think
it's a very smart thing to do.
Yeah, I think over the years, it may have given people a certain amount of ick, that sort of stuff. But we've had 20 years of people being dirt rave Jehovah's Witnesses and talking about Nowhere incessantly, not to mention amongst all of the global Burning Man regional events. So if somebody does decide, hey, I'd love to go to Nowhere this year, if they can't find us, then are we, you could argue, is it a way to actively include people and make us easier to find?
That works for me. So all right. So I'll pass. Well, I mean, the people that need to know are on the call. Once I find out what they give us or whatever, I'll pass it around, and we can maybe catch a few nobodies that are lost. To that end, should I do a little financing thing? Okay, I made a spreadsheet because people ask questions. Let me see if I can figure out how to get the right tab in here. Oh my God. It is not happy with, oh, I have it open in the wrong. Oh, this is gonna be a problem. I have different profiles and it doesn't want to share this one. There we go. So this is taking a relatively reasonable view of last year's event expenses and doing them over time. This also, it's actually by week internal here. I hid the weeks because it doesn't fit on the screen, but you can see like for each section when money was spent. And the intention here was to get a little bit more clarity on cash flow. I've nixed some rows here that don't apply to us. I've altered some rows to be more accurate for what's actually happened. And somehow I got the numbers to add up to the 17 euro profit, which I thought was just about appropriate. So this is kind of meant, this is still a placeholder because it's still guessing based on last month's numbers. But after talking with Daniela today, I think I've come up with a way I can add in department budgets into humans. And that'll be coming over the next couple days to early next week. And that will effectively replace the similar concept of like the Paloma spreadsheets from people know from the past. The thought is we will allocate each department their like top level number based on last year. Then hopefully they can fill out the detail. So like, you know, if an department got $5,000, then they could say, I'm going to spend 1,200 on this, 1,400 on that. And roughly this is when those numbers are going to get spent. So like you put a date on the expected like purchase time. And then that will all get rolled up into a view like this, organization wide. And then that can pull in, we're already pulling in ticket numbers and money from Stripe. So that can all get like, so as this thing goes from left to right over the burn period, it'll basically self-update. The predicted numbers will turn into actuals. And we'll have nice little dials and gauges about, you know, where we are percentage wise through the event. I think the agreed design right now is meta leads can see each other's departments, and then general volunteers would see like the high level percentages kind of thing to keep, you know, the data at appropriate levels. Obviously some parts we can't share specifically because it's like salary or other personal information. But you know, we should be able to get almost a real, like not real time, but like updated every day view of what our budget allocation is by department, and essentially a guess, like a speedometer type thing of how much we've spent so far this year of our budget. Would that make everybody happy? Would anything make everybody happy when it comes to finance? It's one of those things that there's never, it's impossible to get everybody, but we'll try to make it as inclusive as possible with giving people reasonable amounts of information. In some ways, you know, there's also information overload that can happen with numbers. There's also like minutia of like, oh, well, actually randomly reminded myself today that our first actual expense this year is going to be a VAT payment of almost 20 grand at the end of April. So that's our first expense of the year based on the ticketing sales that we've had so far. And, you know, those kind of things are more cash flowy, but they, you know, they all matter because if we don't have the money to pay that at the right time, then we get in trouble. And we don't want to be paying fines right now. But yeah, so that's basically where it's at. I'm happy to have any questions. And more to be coming soon.
Excellent.
Okay. Find that. Stop it.
Any feedback or questions or comments from the finance side of things from people? You've stunned them into silence with your bureaucratic efficiency.
I talk fast sometimes, and you know, takes people time to process. Oh, good. So yeah, happy. Let me know if you have questions, and some people have pinged me on the sides. Yeah, ultimately, our focus as an organization now is getting our friends and neighbors and relatives to buy their tickets. And then everything else works. And we adjust as necessary to make that happen. So
Speaking of Aaron, like an old school seance, I'm going to see if the voice of Aaron is in the room with us.
The voice and the face.
There we go. Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. Apologies for wearing a shirt. I think I'm probably the only person on this call wearing a shirt. And I have just got back from work. Ticket sales. Much more exciting. And you've heard all the wonderful things that are happening this year, and ticket sales basically is what makes it all happen. Really pleased with the numbers that we're hitting so far. Lots of questions that we've been firing off around about in 24-hour response, which is fantastic. And a lot of those questions are now being automated. So do feel free to ask any questions via the tickets@nobodies.team, and we'll come back to you. There are approximately 49 people on this call. I'm going to guess that most of you have a ticket, but if you haven't already, this is my plug to get your ticket. So we've had by far and away more than that number, and we are setting a limit for wave one. So wave one is our fully discounted price. That's 275, and that will expire on the 14th of March, or when we hit our golden wave one threshold. So if you've got any brothers on the fence, please do get them to buy tickets sooner rather than later, because we do want to make sure that they get in at the right price. There's been some questions around the low income. Low income's got its own email address and a fantastic team that's running that. But the bottom line is, if you're applying for low income now, we will make sure that wave one ticket pricing is reserved if you're unsuccessful in low income. So don't worry about that. If you apply for low income, we will make sure that's preserved. Lots of questions around the actual number of ticket sales, and quite a bit of discussion internally as to whether or not we should share that absolute number. We've decided at the moment not to. Now, we are fully transparent. You've just seen Peter's spreadsheet that's got all the numbers on there. The main reason that we don't share absolute numbers on ticket sales is because the first thing that anyone does is multiply that by the face value. And in isolation, you've got a large number. And without seeing Peter's sheet of all the costs, then that number can be slightly misleading. So we don't share the absolute number. The other reason is that if you are at the beginning of an event, you don't want people sitting on the fence saying, oh, I'm just going to wait until that number just to make sure that all my friends are going. We need ticket sales early because that helps us forecast everything from when to spend money to cover those initial costs that Peter's been highlighting, and to predict exactly how many portaloos we've got. Now, to give you some idea of the scale here, anyone who was observant on the last sheet where Peter shared his numbers, 11% of all revenue is spent on toilets. So it's not an incidental number. We need to know exactly how many people are going to be there to be able to forecast and make that happen. So do make sure that you buy your tickets early, encourage everyone else to, and keep those questions flowing. Talking which, any questions on tickets? Oh, before I get to questions, bus tickets. Yes, buses are happening. Still got the flow. We're just hammering out the detail. We'll get the bus tickets to you. It'll be roughly the same as last year. So if you got a bus last year, you'll be able to get a bus this year. Any questions? Perfect. In that case, over to you.
There we go. There we go. Yeah, I think that's just the core message you really need to get out there, is that we are just buying our tickets. If anybody's not bought their ticket yet and wants to name and shame themselves in the call, feel free. I think communications wise, it's probably payday for a lot of people who are salaried. Like the end of the month between last week and this week is probably when a big chunk of people are getting paid. So I think if you're able to, any of the comms does reference that. There was talk in the coordinators call the other day of having a viability pre-elsewhere check-in meeting, probably around this time next month, where we're going to have a look and see as to where we're at when it comes to ticket sales, to finance, to all of those things. So hopefully we'll be able to get a good understanding as to where we're at from them. And I appreciate the work you guys have done trying to explain the reasons for not putting out the numbers. I think it's a it's a difficult one as to what the right decision is. So kudos to you guys for that one. I'm going to try again. Is Case on this call or anyone from Barrio's support? No. No. Well, I checked in with them earlier on during the week on a couple of fronts. The Barrios are starting to roll in, starting to register. Looks like we even already had some new Barrios which are registering. Anyone who's coming from here with the Barrio, but from the sounds of the conversation with the Barrio team earlier on the week, things are going to be as it was before. You've got the team on hand. They're going to support you. Cupcake and the team are looking at the power grid. So is there anyone from Barrios or anyone running a Barrio who wants to comment or ask anything at this point?
Yeah. Not sure about that yet, but still sort of confused on whether we, well, I'm confused because I didn't ask yet, but do we know what are the clear expectations and sort of responsibilities of the barrio? I think a lot of that was partly set by the structure of the SA and the legalities of it. And so it'd be great to know requirements to register a barrio and what will be expected from it. Basically, if someone is in a small sort of team and wants to understand if it's the case of registering or not, or getting other infrastructure, is there a guide, an updated document, or have I just missed it? Possible. Maybe other people here did.
No, by all accounts, they're finishing the Barrio survival guide. They're tidying those things up. The requirements placed on a Barrio pretty much are the same as before. You know, there are certain requirements around, you know, especially to things to do with permits. Lots of our permit requirements interact with Barrios. So as to where you guys are placed, having the fire extinguishers. There's a question, you know, the benefits of people who want to free camp in a large group or versus register as a Barrio. Some of that will come down with choosing where to place yourself. Some of that will come down to choosing when it comes to, you know, if you're in an area that allows sound or doesn't allow sound. The best thing I would say is if you reach out to the Barrio support team and have a chat with them, see what works for you. If you're a small group of 12 friends free camping, that might not be what you want. But if you want to get some placement with some frontage and be plugged into power grids and all that stuff, get support when it comes to water, ice, and those things, maybe just talk to the Barrio support team themselves. You haven't missed anything. Everything's just going live in the past 2 weeks. We're assembling the plane while we're flying it, as it were.
Great. It's just awesome to know that we're on time. Everything's on time in being late together. Yeah. Cheers.
There is no time.
Yeah, I think the biggest one was just, I think there's a water cube for 30 people and a shower for each camp. That's like, and the fire extinguishers for anything that makes fire. Those are the like big requirement type things. If you build something over 2.5 meters, it needs to be safe.
And a flag. You need a flag.
The tallest flag.
We got a flag. No, I was worried about things like there was certifications for electricity, certain then there was certain leads that would take legal responsibility for certain key things, if I remember.
Yeah, those are the same because those are permit related. So they have to do with the permit we get to do the event.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, that's really important to know. Thank you.
Yeah, you can just check it out there and just message Barrios at nobodies.team or on Discord and they will get back to you. And the Barrios guide is almost ready. They've been at it for a couple of weeks. So next week, hopefully you will be getting that one.
Sick. Cheers again.
Well, related to this, I've been to Norway many times. I went to Borderland for the first time last year, and I was surprised that I understand that their approach to what the barrio is very different to Norway's approach to what the barrio is. Because they're essentially any group of like 5 people has a place on the map, and it's called the barrio. And I don't know if we have some particular bureaucracy related to permit, which I understand this year, even though we're an association, we have to attend to the same bureaucracy of the permit. I understand last year there was no fire drill. I don't know if that's gonna happen this year or not.
There was a fire drill.
Yeah,
just-
I can.
There just wasn't, but there was.
Right. Yeah, it was a Schrodinger fire drill sort. So
So-
you want to say something? Don't.
So there is a fire drill activity. So last year, what managed to happen is that only the simulation with the nomads and the teams took part. And we're maintaining that for this year. That's kind of the same. We just didn't need to take all of the people out, but it did happen. That's part of the inspection during
Okay.
permit. And
So
yeah,
it's gonna be the same thing this year. There's gonna be a fire drill, but we don't need everyone to go to the.
yeah, it's the same. Yeah.
Okay. But
The authorities
what I
want
wanna-
the authorities want to see that in a situation the event is able to demonstrate a period of command and control. They've seen us evacuate everyone from site before, so they're not making us go through that pantomime, but they do assess, they watch from the hill. So they're up on the hill seeing how far we get around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and in terms of what you were asking, y'all, about the permit and the barrios, the way that we're set and the way that this area works, groups of people that accommodate to be a barrio, they need to comply with permit stuff. It's a safety requirement. It's just the law here. So probably that's why it's different from.
Right. No, but because we have this situation of like no camps, they are not called a barrio, but are essentially a barrio. Like if you have a group of 20 people that behave like a barrio, but have not registered as barrio, it just gets to this silly bit like it was Dan's situation. That like now he's considered being a barrio, but like for example last year he had a water cube, then like, but at the same time you could be in the power grid if you just get in touch with the yellow three people without being a barrio. But I understand that as this year we're still going to be on the same site under the same permit regulations. It's probably not worth bringing up a discussion, particularly at this point in time, about changing regulations. But I think that on the new site we should probably revisit our approach to barrios. But my
think-
question was, if the permits, these regulations are due to the permit, so we're going to keep with all that, and then our approach to barrios, I think essentially has to continue being the same.
I think also it's important to note barrios are one of the core parts of the event, and they provide a huge service. In Borderlands, a lot more people are living in or are living local, easier to get down. Like the largest number of our population live in barrios. They're very inclusive. A lot of no camp camps tend to be smaller group of friends who are coming, and those people are camped together, and that's great. Whereas actually a huge number of our barrios are incredibly welcoming. They open spaces, they make space for new people. Most of us, when we come to the event for the first time, we participate in a barrio. And so, especially some of those bigger barrios that are all required to be participatory as part of it, they get extra support and help with, power, logistics, all of that stuff. So they operate a huge core element of the event and give quite a bit. So I think that's why the registration is. And also a lot of that process is to help them. If you're 25 fuckers coming for the first time and managing to put on something like that, all of you coming from another country, then the barrio registration process means there's a team that helps them with their gas, with their permits. It's not a bureaucracy. You must sign this form to camp together. It's just recognizing the amazing work they do and see what support we can give them as an event. Because without them, there's, I like working, but there's not much of an event without them.
Sure. And while I agree on the value of the barrios and their importance, it's just like, it sounds a bit counterintuitive that if you want to be considered a barrio, you need more bureaucracy. But if you just 25 people came together, not a barrio, there's no bureaucracy, even though it looks kind of the same, right? But I don't think we need to continue this topic, particularly because due to permit regulations, we're not going to change anything. But that's something once we are on the new site, maybe under different regulations, and we have like power grid and all that. We will revisit all this.
Yeah, I mean that's more Spain. Like Spain just has these requirements that come into the permit, so that's just the way it is. And Borderland owns their land, so they can do whatever they want. the other side though, I mean, one of the benefits of two of the benefits of the barrios or being a barrio officially is placement. You get to actually be able to pick your spot. And then there's effectively a barrio services where certain things can be facilitated for the barrio's needs, water tickets, container movement. There's a list of like 15 things. And then that, as having run a barrio for a number of years, it's handy to come to site and have the gas and all that stuff already there, and not have to go pick it up in town and deal with the Spanish regulations about buying a freaking can of propane at the supermarket. Yeah, it definitely helps.
Yeah, there is no bureaucracy. It's so lightweight. Don't worry too much about it. It's more service than bureaucracy. Don't make this hold you back starting a camp or a barrio. It's really lightweight. I can really say it's someone who's done it since 2018.
Guys, the question was answered brilliantly in the first 15 seconds. Thank you. Yeah.
Is there anyone else here who wants to share some of the good work they or their team or their barrio has been doing so far this year?
Yeah, I think Nurse has been smashing it. Nurse has been really helpful.
I think it's an open shout out for anyone who who deserves some praise or some props at this point. But it's just been amazing to see where everyone's at and how much is getting done. Does anyone want to come to anyone out online for not where I'm joking? Is there anyone in the chat who has any questions? Is there anything that's not being clear or transparent, or anyone have any concerns about anything? Most of the people involved in things are here, and we're all here to answer your questions.
I've got a really boring bag. Oh, hello, Kat. That's a great time to cuss me. On the volunteering, I know we spoke earlier about the number of people needed to come early and do early things. I was talking to Prosper earlier this week about Cantina, and they're very desperate for leads. So all of the people whose barrios said they'd step up and do some kitchening, maybe you guys don't have to build a kitchen. Maybe you just have to come and cook in ours. Wouldn't that be nice? Very easy. But yeah, we need early people who can lead a team. So if you've got experienced barrio cooks who want to play in the crew kitchen, hit up Prosper, let them know, because they're very, very keen to get people.
Hardcastle, I have good news for you.
Yeah.
I've been talking to volunteers today about how to get that message out, and we decided our next newsletter is going to be all about like early build and what all that means, and all, like when people are needed, and Like Nurse has been putting a lot of effort into some cool docs. So that is going to be our first campaign that we're gonna send out, and then the follow-up one is going to be the Cantina.
Cool. Thanks. Question answered.
I think also it's important to note that sometimes from the outside, it can seem there's some weird divide between Norg or York, I don't know what we're calling it, or Workhouse and the barrios. Some of the people who are our most ardent volunteers and the keenest, most helpful people are people who come, work for Workhouse, do the early setup period, and then go off and join your barrio. So if you're running a barrio, do feel free to let anyone in your camp know if they want to come early, they can turn up, they can volunteer, and whenever they're ready to leave, they can just go and join their camp. We sometimes have people come and cook for 2-3 days and then head off to join the barrio. So I think that's where we work best as an event, is where there's a kind of, the lines are blurred down. At a certain point pre-event, there's no barrios, there's no Norg, everyone's just helping each other. So if you do have people who are keen to come earlier, let them know. Or if you've got friends whose barrios are not coming, we have one of our cooks from Costume Camp who comes early to just cook and doesn't attend the event, and she's potentially going to join us. So we're open, we're welcome, even if somebody wants to come for 1 or 2 days before their barrio arrives and cook or do a particular job, we're happy to take their help. This is a year where I think we all pulled together, and it looks like we're doing it pretty well. So it's at the 45-minute mark. I feel like these calls are getting shorter and shorter. Once the drama of can we have the event, will we have a name, has died down, now that we're just into event logistics, these meetings seem to be getting shorter.
I don't think the
That's all right. They'll get longer again towards go time.
Well, there's a lot of recordings and summaries for the board meetings and other things going out, so it's not as things are more transparent, I guess. You don't have to show up here basically to find out what's going on. There's a lot of more avenues this year, which
how often do these meetings happen is a question. How often do these meetings happen? There you go, weekly.
Weekly, this is just an open community meeting where I think people can come and listen in and watch or listen as they see fit. Does anybody have anything else to add, or should we close the meeting, or we can just leave the chat open if people just want to chat and hang out?
I think you're all great.
Cheval's just had a question about how to connect with the Barcelona Euroburner elsewhere nowhere scene. We've also had some volunteers message us from Zaragoza. That is an interesting one, actually. Is there a section on the Discord, or is there scope to have an area that's focused on Barcelona or Spain or Spanish language for people who are participating? It's a question.
We have a burner meetup here that happens once a month. There's also a WhatsApp group that kind of held on and kind of became our burner chat. I can reach out specifically to Cheval, but yeah, like a big thing. I don't know about putting a WhatsApp number online, but there are quite a bit of us. So I think there's Barcelona burners on Facebook, and I said our meeting is monthly at Metamorphosis.
Excellent. All right, then, everyone. Well, that's all the business. Good chat, and good to get updates from everyone on this real participation focus. But yeah, the barrios are coming. The volunteers are signing up. The artists are registering. It looks like it's all going.
Bye, everyone.
Have a nice evening, everyone. Thanks for all your help so far.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you, nurse, for sharing.
No problem. Someone else can do it next time.
Yes, please.
Bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye. Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Is that ants eating chicken at Frank's house?
Yes.
Other around. Chicken shop, motherfucker.
Eating the fuck out of that chicken.
Don't be jealous. Hey. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
That's real sweet, nurse, what you said about the different time to do jobs, because we've got fuck all to do right now while everybody else does lots and lots of work.
Yeah.
But it's good.
Why don't you get yourself down to fucking Sarajevo and start building some shade then?
I went yesterday, and but you weren't there, so I came back because I left my phone here and I wanted to call you. Tank and Joel, you guys go to the same stylist.
Clearly, it's
Also, I'm Nick. I'm not Joel.
no, but we're chatting
Joel?
about this.
Oh, you guys.
Yeah. We're trying to make a cat just like amazing handlebars.
I got you on 2 matched screens next to each other. It's fucking amazing.
I think you should make a registration form for that aesthetic.
Yeah. Now we're running dry.
Johnny Depp
By
hired
the
me.
way, if you don't know folks that are looking for a cat, like we're hiring, we're recruiting.
Okay, so I'm more of a lone wolf.
Fair.